So you want to have a student leadership team. Who gets to be on it? Hey everybody, my name is Ronald Long and I've been a youth pastor for 16 years. I have loved the idea of having a student leadership team, students who buy into what it is we're doing in the youth ministry so that they're not just like coming to like hang out and be there, but they're actually coming so that they can serve and be a part and help the ministry to grow and thrive and all that wonderful stuff that can absolutely happen when you have a student leadership team. Now the question is, who gets to be on the student leadership team? Or, to put it a different way, which students can serve? And so that's what we're going to be tackling today and looking at when we talk through the idea of having a student leadership team and in your youth ministry, who should be on it. Now there are a couple quick caveats that will probably like split the room, and that's fine. These are just good things to think about. For you as the youth pastor, you need to decide, okay, am I going to have students who believe in Jesus being the only people who serve? Or am I going to let students who are coming to youth group, but not yet believers, serve in the youth ministry? Now this is a big deal, and I get it, and will require some introspection on your part and trying to figure out, like, am I going to make sure that the students who are serving their peers are also followers of Jesus? Or do I allow students who are just like kind of church curious begin to serve because they can be happy and helpful and point people in which direction to go when it's time to eat snacks? This is just something that you need to know as a youth pastor and be able to defend it to your senior pastor or your boss, because they will probably ask you when those times come. And now I hope that the way that I'm going to lay this out here today, you'll be able to make a really clear decision one way or the other. I'm not going to make that decision for you. You get to make that decision for you, but maybe, hopefully, this will be a way to help you learn which is best for you. And again, I am doing content on this for the next couple of weeks. And so if you don't want to miss a video, do me a favor. There are buttons down here. This is YouTube, right? I think there's some buttons down that way. And if you hit the like button, it helps other youth pastors know that you like this and they should probably watch it too. And if you hit the subscribe button, it means you won't miss a video, because YouTube will give you a notification every time I release a new video, which will be weekly, talking about youth ministry topics that I've been dealing with for the last 16 years. So let's dive into this question of which students can serve. And I'm going to say, anyone willing.
Hey, this is Ronald interrupting myself, I guess. I just wanted to remind you that down below in the description, there is a email newsletter sign up where you can sign up to receive just a weekly email from me that tells you that the video is live and gives you a summary of it. And it also gives you 3 huge gifts. Number 1 is a 30-day youth pastor challenge where you attempt to become a better youth pastor over 30 days, where I guide you through what that looks like over some really short videos and some emails. There's also the How to Survive Youth Ministry, the emergency guide. Super helpful thing about 4 things that youth pastors really struggle with, which is parents, volunteers, student attendance, and fundraising. And then lastly, every quarter I release a series for you that has tons of graphics and resources and small group leader guides and parent manuals and all this kind of stuff that I give right to you in your inbox, all for just signing up to my email list. Thanks so much. Back to the video.
You should let any student willing to serve be serving in your youth ministry. What do I mean by that? I mean, any student who wants to serve, I feel like you should give them a chance to serve in your student ministry. Meaning, I don't think we should say, hey, 6th grader, you can't serve yet because you just started in the ministry. Also, 12th grader, I don't think you should serve because you're almost out of here, right? I actually believe that students who want to serve, regardless of their age, should be given an opportunity to serve in the youth ministry. This is a really big deal. For 10 years, I was the middle school pastor at my church here in San Antonio. And that meant that I had sixth graders serving in really significant roles within my ministry. And there's a couple things I want you to know about that. First, absolutely, it looked like a sixth grader was doing it. Like 100%, it was at sixth grade student level quality and appearance. Because why? They're sixth graders. But here's the great thing is, a sixth grader was doing those things. I had sixth graders play guitar and drums and do slides and do great jobs like leading games and greeting students. Sixth graders can serve in big ways. Now, when I was a young whippersnapper of a youth pastor, I was the guy who said, hey, you have to be a freshman in high school before you can serve. And that was when I was the student pastor over, 7th through 12th grade at my first church in Tennessee. And that felt right. We want kids to be mature. We want kids to be able to drive themselves, probably, to get themselves to where they're needed to be going for the student leadership team. We want them to be able to commit to things. And I felt like that was a good thing for our youth ministry. Then when I transitioned into being a middle school pastor, I realized if I'm going to say that only ninth grade students and up can serve, I have 0 students who can serve inside the ministry. And it changed how I viewed students wanting to serve. And so let me challenge you that if you've got a really young group, or just a group that includes older students to seniors all the way down to young middle school students, don't say to these middle school students, you can't serve yet. You've got to grow up a bit. I'm like, why? Really, truly. Tell me why down in the comments, why you think that's a great stance to have. I would love to politely disagree with you, because I think any student who wants to serve should be serving in your student ministry, regardless of age or skill or ability. Huge, huge deal. If they want to serve, then they should begin the chance to serve. I feel very strongly about this. I think you can tell. Here's the second thing, that if you are already kind of like, Ronald, I disagree so much with what you're saying, hear me out. Here's what I also think you should do. You should use an application process to find out which students can serve. Now, when I say application process, it can be as minimal or as huge as you want it to be. But I suggest you have some variety, some type of application process that you put your students through. Why? Because when you allow your students to see what you are requesting of them in something as small as a Google form with a link to the job description that you're going to have, that's maybe 1 page worth of, this is what I want you to do. It allows students to say, oh, that's the specific thing I'm signing up for. Yes, I want to do it. And at bare minimum, you're going to not have students sign up if they don't want to do it. They might come to you and say, hey, youth pastor, I really want to serve and be on the welcome team. You go, fantastic. I need your name, your cell phone or your parent's cell phone, and an email address, and you to read this document on this Google form QR code that I have in the youth room, or whatever you have. Or even just, hey, great, sign this piece of paper, fill this out and read it, and then turn it back into me. If you just have as small of a process as that, you're going to weed out students who don't actually want to serve. Maybe they say they want to serve, but if they can't actually fill out an application, then okay, that's a big deal. But if they fill out an application and they put their name down as well as a way to contact them, you can at least say, hey, you've read this, you understand this, let's begin the process. And then that way, you can have parents who might come up to you and say, well, little Johnny wants to serve in the student ministry, but you don't give him an opportunity. You can say, hey, well, I've got this piece of paper here that Johnny has yet to fill out. And when Johnny, thank you for the thumbs up, Apple. Great. When Johnny fills out this application process, then you can serve. Yay! Can we do like the jazz hands? Is that the thing? Or the peace sign? Thumbs up? I don't know. When I want it to happen, it doesn't happen. Like I don't understand the products that I have here. Rock hand. Ah, there we go. Thank goodness. Then Johnny can serve and do the thing. But like right now, he hasn't filled out the application, so he can't serve until he fills that out. Doing that is huge. Now you can add on to the application process whatever you as a youth pastor can handle. Whether that's you have to interview with you as a youth pastor or interview with a volunteer who, vets students and just asks them some simple questions of like, why do you want to serve? Tell me, what brought you to youth group? Are you a believer in Jesus or not? And then you can have those stipulations appear at that process. But by having an application process, you at least let students know this is not just, I kind of want to show up, maybe I'll show up. You begin to raise the bar just enough for them to say, ooh, I want to do this, or no, I'm actually going to self-select out. So what do you do after you establish an application process? You establish clear expectations. This is a big deal for youth ministry. When you have clear expectations for the role you want that student to do, you help yourself and that student in huge ways. Let's use what I feel like is the most basic way that a student can serve, and we'll talk more about this in a different video. A welcome team, all right? All this person is doing is greeting people who come into the youth ministry, right? Minimally. You would put that into a one-page Word document and just say, hey, as the welcome team member, it is your job to say hello to every student who walks into the building, right? Easy. It is your job to give new students, whatever it is, whatever you do for your new students, whether you give them a candy bar or a t-shirt or just, hey, fill out this form real quick, you tell your welcome team, make sure every new student gets the new student treatment, whatever that is for you. And, third, at the end of welcome time, clean up your area, make sure it looks nice. You've established those clear communications for your students. Greet everyone who walks in the building, help new students get new student stuff, and clean up your area when you're done. Maybe you would put in the fourth thing of be 10 minutes early to the event so you can greet people, right? Clear expectations. These four things here. If you set that up with a student, you have then allowed them the opportunity to win. We'll talk more about that in a second. But when you give them those clear expectations, you can then coach them in their leadership. I can walk over and you can say, hey guys, y'all are doing a great job. Everything's great. I just saw across the room a couple of students walked in and you guys didn't greet them. Remember, number one, we're supposed to greet every student who walks in the building. So, hey, focus up, okay? Make sure you're greeting every student who walks in the building. When I was a middle school pastor, I know middle schoolers can be weird, so I actually had them have something in their hand to be able to hand every student who walked in. It could be a piece of candy, it could be a sticker, it could be, gum, whatever. It could be something that had to do with your lesson that day, like an illustration. I just made sure they had something to hand every single student who walked in. So it was like, hey, welcome, how you doing? There's just that motion of like, I'm not just waving with my hands, but I'm passing you something, made a big difference in my students feeling more comfortable welcoming other kids into the ministry. So once you establish clear expectations for the roles that you're giving your students, you then know, okay, this is the box inside which you can play. And it's a big deal for you as a youth pastor to know what your students are expecting, and it's a really big deal for your students to understand, this is what my youth pastor expects me to do, okay? So that is a great way to begin this process of figuring out who's going to serve on the student leadership team just by making sure they've got clear expectations. All right. Also, think about not limiting those opportunities. When you have students who serve on your student leadership team, they're probably going to come in and come at you with like big ideas and really excited things that say, hey, can we do this, or can we do this, or can we do this? You have so many opportunities to hear no as a student. My buddy Josh Boldman talks about this a lot. As youth pastors, we have the opportunity to say yes to students so much. And we can give them some really great yeses by making sure that we don't limit the opportunities that students have. They say, hey, can I share my testimony? Yes. I just need you to write it down for me first, right? Hey, can I pray before youth group starts? Yes. I just am going to be on stage when you do that. Hey, can I lead this game? Yes. Can I play guitar? Yes. Can I run slides in the background? Yes. Make sure that you are telling students yes to service opportunities inside of the youth ministry. When you tell students yes, you're going to find out that you have students who not only serve, but also invite other people to serve as well. So when you're determining which students can serve in youth ministry, my big push is to let any student who wants to serve, but have them an application, again, a thumbs up, have them an application process and give them clear expectations. Just by doing that, you're going to make sure that those students know, oh, okay, this is what it takes to serve in youth ministry. And really, they can self-select out if they don't want to, but if they do want to serve, they can, and it's going to give them an awesome opportunity to do so. So, hey, please, if you are enjoying this content that I've got right here, do me a favor. Hit the like button and the subscribe button. They should be around here. And let other youth pastors know about what's going on. In fact, you could even share this video towards another youth pastor. That would be great, just by clicking the share button and sending it to somebody in a text and saying, hey, this Ronald seems to understand a little bit about student ministry. It would mean the world to me. Also, if you are struggling with students' attendance, I've been saying this for a while, getting them to serve is a great way to get them to show up. And so, some great methods that I've got that I put for student attendance are down below in the description of the link with the emergency guide to surviving youth ministry. I interviewed 50 to 100 youth pastors who talked about and told me what their most frustrating thing was, and this is what they came up with. It's just the most frustrating things. And so one of them was students not attending youth group. You get them serving, you'll get them attending. And you can find that by clicking the link down below and signing up for my email newsletter. Great thing that I'll do with that, though, is I'll email you every time I release a new video and let you know what is coming out and what it's all about. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Again, my name's Ronald. Been a youth ministry veteran for 16 years, and I am sure trying to help other youth pastors learn how to do youth ministry well. If this has been helpful to you, let me know about it. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.